Hey, happy Shabbat. Here we are having a nice rest with the gift that Yahuwah has given us. The day to take it easy and reflect on the things Yahuwah has done for us. So I told you in the coming weeks I'm going to have different subjects I'm going to talk about. Today I'm going to talk about one that it's not popular. It's about the name of our Messiah. We have been given the name Jesus. And if you study that, just the etymology of that name, you will find out, of course, that J didn't exist back, a little less than 500 years ago. It didn't exist. But anyway, the IE is the, it's been used as the, it's been used as hail. SUS has been used as normally horse and has also been used as Zeus. So you have the horse or hail Zeus. That's first off. Second off, the name is not Hebrew. And back when Yahusha was born, they didn't. If they were Hebrew people, and they named their children Hebrew names. They didn't go outside. It's not like it is now. And it's also not a translation from Yahusha, his real name. It's not a translation into English. Jesus is made up. It comes from, it first showed up, that's the other thing too, is the name is less than 500 years old, which makes it absolutely impossible for it to be our Messiah's name. And these are just, what I'm giving you is undeniable facts. And that's one thing, when I've studied these things through the years, I have a scientific approach. I got to find a few things that match up and tell me the same thing. I'm probably not going to listen to it. And this is undeniable. Not Hebrew. Didn't exist before somewhere around 500 years ago. It's less than 500 years old, and it's not a translation. Showed up with the Latin Vulgate, which was the first bad translation of the word of Yahuwah. That's where the King James comes from. It was translated by, the first Latin Vulgate was written by Catholics. The King James was also written by Catholics, translated from the Latin Vulgate. So you have a bad translation written from a bad translation. So what's the point? Well, you have to ask, if that is not our Messiah's name, then who are you calling on? Who are you summoning when you are saying prayers in the name of Jesus? And I've also heard people tell me that they've seen many prayers answered in that name. This is what you got to remember, and this is where you have to study about your adversary, Ashatan, Satan. You got to know what he's doing. You got to know how he works. He can grant things that look like miracles. He is the king of counterfeit. You gotta know that. If you don't know anything else about your adversary, Ashatan, you gotta know that he'll counterfeit things. He can't do what Yahuwah can do, our Father. but he can counterfeit it and make it look so much the same that we as humans can't tell the difference. I've heard of stuff where preachers say we were about to lose our church, we needed $500,000, and all of a sudden the $500,000, we prayed in the name of JESUS and that check showed up. Well, he can make it show up too. And that's a lot like what went on with that QAnon. I don't know if anybody is familiar with that. I bought into it for a few months till I studied into it and figured out it was a fake. I believe it was started by the Democrats to put something in place to make the Republicans think that somebody was coming. Calvary's coming, so you can sit back and relax. Well, it's the same thing with this. Ashatan makes you feel like everything's okay when you call on the name of JESUS or God, which is like saying Mr., or Adonai, or Yeshua, there's a million of them. He has one name. Our Father's name is Yahuwah, and his Son's name is Yahusha. So that's what it comes down to. And the reason I get on here and give you this stuff is I'm hoping that even if it's an attempt to prove me wrong, that you will begin to study and dig for yourself, because we've gotten ourselves into a bad place where we show up to a place on Sundays, or the Christians do. They show up to a place on Sunday and they listen to a guy. A lot of them don't study. That's it. That's all. They hear what he says and that's it. They don't study. They don't dig. They don't find out if he's telling the truth. They obviously don't find out if he's telling the truth, because I found out if he was telling the truth, and guess what? They're not. Now, are they doing that on purpose? I don't know. I'm not saying that they're doing it on purpose. They've all been taught from the same place. So they're all going to say the same thing. It's time to start digging. It's time to start questioning. You're seeing what's going on. This is a good time, too, to bring this stuff to the surface, because you're seeing what's happening with the Biden administration and the people that follow. You see that all they have to do is put something on TV, and everybody just follows along with it. There's still 38% of this country that are still following him. That's millions of people that are still following Joe Biden. That's scary. But that's how it can happen, and we're in a spiritual battle, and that's how it's happened with what's going on with these names and the pagan practices that are going on. At some point, you got to study it. You got to see it for yourself. It's eye-opening. All right. We'll see you later.